Hello, everyone. Welcome to Analytics are for the nerds. We are in week 13 of the year. Lucky things to talk about. Let's go.
Pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up.
That was so good. Happy week 13, everyone. How are we doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Okay. Everyone looks good.
Yeah, Ryan's in a new room.
Yeah, I was just quickly doing the math, if that was right. Really 13 weeks into the new year.
I swear to God, I did the same thing, and I had a few drinks at the Sabres game tonight. I was like, I don't want to even try to question it right now.
Right. Well, you know, when you're like, you ready to start? And I was like, hold on. And then I was like, hold on. And then I still did it. And then I hit reverse. Yeah, 13. Look at us. I'm just slow counter numbers. But yeah, 13 weeks in. Are we still keeping our New Year's resolutions? No? Okay.
No, I'm not. No. I was on keto for a little while, went back to it, but took a little break with Easter coming up. I bought some Peeps and jelly beans for my daughters, and that's not a good combination. So we're slowly running out of jelly beans in the house, so that's never good.
So our draft is conspiracy theories today, and I can't wait. And Allie's been waiting for this, but like, I'm so mad after you said Peeps. Like, we should definitely have done Easter candy.
Oh,
maybe we should, because Peeps are the most disgusting thing in the whole world.
That's why Ryan ate the jelly beans and is giving the girls the Peeps.
Yeah, I'm not busting into the Peeps, just mostly the jelly beans. And it's a tough time of year, and too many holidays with sugar is really the problem. So
yeah, it's well, you still look very thin. I think you look good. I know, Louie, you're looking thin. You're not chewing jelly beans, you're chewing almonds, I believe.
Almonds. I lost 20 pounds recently. I mean, again, it's so, you've made this comment on this podcast. It's just so easy for guys to lose 20 pounds. Like, all I've done is drink a few waters and not eat cheeseburgers every day, and I've lost 20 pounds in like 2 weeks.
I hate that. It's like I've been in a calorie deficit for the last like 30 years, and I'm still like, help me. Like, I'm doing something now that I know I tweeted about, and you like made fun of me, Louie. But I'm doing. Have you heard of Hard 75 or 75 Hard? Have you heard about that?
Wait, which one is it?
I don't know.
I feel like it's a very different.
Is that a Mike's lemonade drink?
Different type of challenge.
You find 75-year-old men, and you got to get them the hardest. Oh, yeah. I could do it. Challenge accepted. Hey, look, it's 10:12 p.m.
Tell me about it. How is it going?
So you have 75 days to keep this kind of schedule. It's you take a progress photo. And that's it. No, you have to do one 45-minute exercise outside. One has to be outside. One has to be, and then you have to do another 45-minute exercise. So 2 45-minute exercise. It could be indoors or outdoors. You have to drink a gallon of water a day. You have to read 10 pages of a nonfiction book. And what else do you have to do? You have to eat no sugar, no cheat meals, and no alcohol. So, because I have like no joy in my life, I do drink everything out of a wine glass. So if anyone sees this is water. A gallon is I can do without alcohol. I can do without candy and sugar. The water is the toughest part. So I've been doing all this. I haven't lost 20 pounds, and I'm on day 18. So Louis stops eating cheeseburgers, lose 20 pounds. I've taken all joy.
Well, that's also another compliment to you, because I was so fat that it was easy to take off 20 pounds. You had a little bit more work to do. I told you when you first mentioned it, I would have tried it with you just to be, part of this podcast. Yeah. We could talk about it each week. I'm so glad that we didn't get there, because I drank a bottle of wine last night, so probably wouldn't have worked.
It's like a tough mutter for the brain. I think it's like I like that it's challenging. Sometimes like you're like, oh, I have to read 10 pages of a book and I'm tired. I'm trying to go to bed. And you're like, oh, you got to finish this.
Well, that's what I want to know the most. Like, what does reading 10 pages of nonfiction have anything to do with your health? Mental health, I get it, maybe. But I want to know what that does for your physical health. Do you read 10 pages of like Huckleberry?
That is a fiction book. Just The Adventures of Tom Sawyer is not real, but okay. Samuel Clemens boy. It's more for like for your brain health too, to be like giving yourself time to say, I'm doing this, I'm setting my intentions to do all of this stuff to get it through because I can. So so that's kind of that's what I'm doing. That's okay. So here I am. So if you see me, I also drink kombucha. So if it looks like wine, not that it matters, this is for me, not for anyone else, but I just drink kombucha and water and coffee, and I'm fun. Look how fun I am.
You're so much fun with your shoulder. Oh, don't do all that.
No, it's just me being. I'm sad. I'm sad now.
You're sassy. Before you get into your segment, we have our guests is in. Should we bring him in just for the whole show? Let's do that.
I'm ready for him. Everyone, please welcome Buffalo's own lifesaver to all the people, Kyle Turner. There we go. Hey, bud.
Hey, what's up? Happy to be here.
Thank you. I thought there was an open mic today, and Louis said, no, Kyle said there's a magic show, which was the grossest thing I've heard in a while. So thank you for making me not go to the magic show.
Yeah. Well, it's an adult magic show.
Tell me more.
Our friend Ryan Fay, who is one of the best draft participants here in all of our shows, he is the feature act tonight, which makes like if I was a feature act for like a magic show, I would just be like doing all the dumb dad shit, like pulling a quarter out of my ear and being like, look at this.
That would be really funny if you opened for a magician with magic.
That's my
You're gonna see magic, but check this magic out before.
He explains how to do all the tricks before the guy comes on. That would be fun. I think that could be that's a really good bit. We've got time. So we're gonna talk about my segment, Everything and Nothing. The last time we spoke, Kate Middleton was getting a BBL, and turns out not true, cancer. So.
Wait, is that really a thing? I don't know. I have not have an update. What?
Wait, now what's a BBL?
Brazilian butt lift.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the wrong conspiracy theory.
It's been confirmed. No, I don't know anything. You talked for 15 minutes last episode, and I still didn't understand more than I did before you started. So now, what happened?
Princess Kate went on. I just want to say I feel for Ryan, because he probably has defendants that he has to represent. Wait. You mean I stopped the octagon? Like, I'm so sorry. Okay. So she went on camera, the princess, and she said, "Hey guys, I didn't get a Brazilian butt lift. I had abdominal surgery, which we talked about, and they found out that I have cancer, so I'm doing chemo."
Okay.
He said that.
Are we sure that wasn't we're talking about conspiracy theories later. Are we sure that wasn't an AI video?
No, we're not, actually. I'm up to date on this conspiracy, and I'll tell you what, we don't know.
Okay. Just want to make sure that we're 100%.
People have zoomed in. She was sitting on a bench, like a park bench, which weird. But she was sitting on a park bench, and people have already zoomed in on the bench and been like, "This side's different than this side." She has a ring in this frame, not a ring in this frame, and it's a whole thing.
Wow!
I don't want to get too far into it, just in case someone wants to talk about it for their conspiracy theory.
It's not on my draft because I'm still fingers crossed with a BBL, but. She didn't stand, is what I'm saying, right? It's not gonna stand up. That I didn't hear about that conspiracy. That's that the bench is fake.
Wait.
Well, no,
can
the
I-
whole thing's AI. They're saying like, that it's been altered.
Okay. Oh wow. See,
Wait, I know
I'm
everybody
up to
hates when I
date.
do this, but can I just derail the show for
what's
1
a
second?
princess? Okay.
No, and talk about the a bench conspiracy theory. There is locally a statue of a man sitting on a bench at the foot of Ferry, Buffalo, New York. Very common spot here, and there's a statue of a guy reading a newspaper. And until I was 12 years old, my father would be like, look at that guy still there. And I believed him until I was like 12. One day when I was like 12, he was like, let's go see him. And then we sat down and we took pictures when I finally realized it was a statue. But it took me that long.
Oh,
So that was my.
I'm
I
gonna
mean, that what?
report behind your ear.
That's not a conspiracy, Lou. You're dumb.
Nope, wait, you're right there. That's
Oh,
I would have liked that story better if you actually believed it was the statue of David was real and it was just like a giant man that was standing by Delaware Park.
oh.
He's out there even in the winter, completely nude. This guy's crazy.
Oh, that's you really should be at that magic show. I'm wow, that's so that's I'm really interested. I gotta now zoom in on this bench because this will be fun to talk about. So let's talk about a little bit of fun things before I go into my one sport talk. I just want to let everyone know you guys are keeping up. Odell Beckham Jr. and Kim Kardashian are no longer together. I know, big news. Big news. You all look like you care. Moving on.
No, wait, I have a follow-up question because I don't.
Yeah.
So I saw some of this. So I'll ask you because I'm sure you
but not international news, but okay.
But was it really? Because I saw it from some weird sites. Did they really break up because Kim Kardashian said something about like how he had like really good sperm and could still have a lot of her kids or something? Is this a thing?
Allegedly, right? But okay, so okay.
Kyle looks confused.
No,
So-
I'm on board. I get it.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like if Kim Kardashian was like, Louis, your sperm looks so good.
Whoa.
We should have a kid. And then you're like, okay, sure, Kim Kardashian. Like, would you guys? You guys are all happily.
Not me.
Kardashian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have
that's
you seen?
And
I
honestly,
have a cute daughter and a
probably Odell Beckham, to be honest with you. He is rich enough.
He's very handsome. Yeah, I guess I'm sure that didn't happen. I'm sure she was like, "Can you stop like having other girlfriends? You're a football player, probably something like that."
or the boyfriends. I'm not judging, but like it is.
I don't know. No, I'm just saying, like, I feel like that's a very aggressive thing for anyone to say when you're like dating for a year. Like, you will have very good looking kids. We should get.
They were dating for a year. I thought it was just a one-off comment.
No.
Super Bowl they were together, Oscars, and I think before they've been rumored to be together for a bit.
Nice.
I know, good for them, or not good for them.
Well,
now
I guess it doesn't. Yeah.
So anyway, that's dumb. I'm sorry for man mute. I'm sorry.
I have more things to say, but go ahead.
So now let's go to something that came out a few weeks ago, or even a couple months ago, I feel at this time. Let's look at the 2024 team report cards. I thought this was such a interesting and goofy thing. Do we have that we can pop up, Lou?
I mean, I should have, but you keep talking about it, and I'll see if I can pull it up.
So, Kyle, are you familiar with the report card?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you?
Ryan,
not like a school report card, like an actual.
Ryan, I know you are also familiar with it as Louis pops it up. So interesting thing about the report card, they're obviously rated A through F minus. There's treatment of facilities, food and cafe, nutrition, dietitian, locker room, training room, staff, training staff, weight room, strength coaches, travel team, head coach, owner. Those are all rated. And there are some interesting things on this report card. Looks like the Dolphins are the number one in the league. They have basically all A's. Vikings are in second place. But interestingly, I'll just talk about money of our team here. The Bills, they get a B for treatment of families, which is nice. I wonder if like everyone voted in A and then Rachel Bush was like, fuck you guys, and then rated it like a so she'll be able to say something in Florida. And then D plus for nutritionist dietitian, Delaware North. Ooh. Let's see what else they have. The A plus for weight room, which is nice. That's, okay. I wonder what makes it so special. Maybe it doesn't smell. Maybe it's just free weights. Who knows? Strength coach is A. Team travel is a D. So I want to know what our hotels look like. A for head coach, which is nice. And then the team with the worst coach rating is the Raiders, because anyone want to talk about that? They got Falcons C plus, Commanders C, and then owner. Okay, the highest scores for owners are Dolphins and Vikings. They have A pluses, a lot of A's, A minus for the Bills, but there's a few F's, and one was Cardinals, Steelers, and then an F minus for the Chiefs. That is
that's a little weird, right? Because this was voted by the players, correct?
Yes.
Here, I'm gonna take off this thing so we can see Kyle. But that's a little bit alarming that it was an F minus about the owner from a team that's won it's in the middle of a dynasty.
Yeah, do they have to pay for their own rings? Why are they giving them an F? Any thoughts, comments on this report card, guys? Anything you wish they'll put on for next year?
Yeah, so the Bills got one for a dietitian, got a D minus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a worker. They're basically like the employee. You're bad. I'm looking at the woman right now. Her name is Christine. They're basically like Christine.
Oh.
Is she fat? I'm sorry. Wait, I shouldn't have that right. That's not. I'm just saying it would be a little bit funnier if she was. Sorry, I shouldn't say fat. If she was overweight, that would be hilarious.
I mean, I only see her face. Face looks normal, but
Kyle would not date her, but Louis, you would, is what.
Okay. That's a way better way to put it.
You're right. Yep.
That sucks for her. She's got to see all of them again.
Yeah. My biggest concern with the whole report card system is the family care part, the family. What is it? What's it? The rating treatment of families. What do these teams need to do to get an F? Which player is you know what? My team gets an F because they did what? What did they do to my family?
At least with the Chargers, I heard or read that it was because they were charging the players to pay for daycare for their kids. I think it was some nominal amount, like $75 or $150. But I mean, it is somewhat funny to think about a professional NFL team, charging its own players such a small amount for something that is kind of crucial to, working, right? But at the same time, it's it's also such a drop in the bucket that to give the team an F minus for charging you for daycare is also kind of funny to think about.
I'm going to be honest. I don't take any athletes serious or their opinions. So the report cards are funny to me because like I said, okay, so I'm looking at this. Arizona Cardinals got a D for food and cafeteria. That just means they didn't serve enough pizza and players mad. You know what I mean? That's all that means. NFL players are dumb people for the most part. They're very dumb. They're going to, like you said, hey, we have a daycare. You have to pay $50 a day or whatever. You make $1 million doing nothing. Go pay this woman. Someone's got to pay this woman. Who gives a shit? Just shut up. The rest of us have to pay way more than that. And what do you want us to do? We make way less. Just shut up. They probably also don't know what the letter system is because none of them fucking finished college.
That's not right. I mean, Ryan, do you pay more than $75 a day for the girls?
Well, we basically watch the girls ourselves for most of the time, so we're not paying for daycare right now. But they are going to school in the fall, so yes, it will. I'll do the math. I'll let you know by the end of the show what it works out per day.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny that even at $75 a day, Tyreek Hill is still broke? he's somehow in the red.
He's dad of the year. Looking at the Cardinals, I know Kyle just brought them up. They everything is either a D, C, or F. They have a B for training staff, but they do have an A- for their head coach. So they're like, you know what? Everything about this sucks except we're a coach's school.
Wait,
yeah,
can I? Because I don't have this up, so you might have this one. Where do the Bills have their head coach?
Head coach for the Bills, A. An
Really?
A- for owner. Yeah. We gave the team travel was a D, A for strength coaches, A+ for weight room.
They're
B,
so
training
scared
staff.
he's gonna get Al Qaeda after him.
Yeah.
They were like, we'll give him an A. They're scared of him. Man, that's crazy. I would not expect McDermott to get an A from his players. Would you? Either of you? Any of you?
100%.
Really?
Yeah, they like him. Every player has liked him except for whoever Tyler Dunn interviews. Like, that's what it comes down to. 90% of the players are like, I like him. And then there's one undrafted free agent cornerback who's like, he actually sucks. And then everyone's like, yeah, I'm going to write an article about that guy.
You're not wrong. So that's really that's all. I just think that's an interesting thing to look at. Again, poor dietitian. We actually ranked worse that in the Bengals and Chiefs worst dietitian. So for teams that are pretty decent, anyway, so
the Dolphins and the Vikings, I feel like were the top two teams that
they
came
are.
off.
Yeah. Dolphins, Vikings, Packers are the top three, and then the last three are Chargers, Chiefs, Commanders. So I'm really confused. So it makes me think about the Chiefs and how they hate everything except their coach, which Andy Reid is adorable. But like, what is that team? What is the culture on that team where nothing is good enough? The weight room is not good enough. They're Super Bowl champs every year. They're not happy with that. They're not happy with the food. They're not happy with the locker room. They're not happy with travel. Like, they're not happy with anything. What is that team like? What's, that's something to think about.
It really is. Like, this whole thing is kind of stupid and silly, right? To like look at this stuff and whatever. But the fact that the players are reporting on this and the fact that the current dynasty is rated so low, that's pretty insane.
I think they're just following the blueprint from the previous dynasty, also hating everything about their franchise, right? So maybe that's the key. We don't want A's. You have A's, you are about as far as possible away from a Super Bowl. The Dolphins are never going to win one with all these A's. They need to be more like the Commanders and just get F's across the board, and then maybe that's the key to success. But yeah, it's definitely odd. I think with Kansas City, their owner has been reportedly difficult with the stadium negotiations and the financial issues, but you could argue that some of that was also applicable here in Buffalo, and it didn't seem to affect the ownership rating. So it's probably more than that, maybe an interpersonal thing. So personality wise.
Yeah.
One thing we didn't talk about on this podcast about how shitty that organization is or things that have happened to them. Have you guys seen the story? I should have brought it up a couple weeks ago, where a few people in that really cold Kansas City game, right before the Bills game, it was like their wild card game or whatever. There's been 3 or 4 people that have had to be amputated since, because it was so cold that they had hypothermia that like ruined their appendages. There's been 3 or 4 people that have had to be amputated since that game. And it's such a quiet like conversation, but that is so crazy, especially as Buffalonians. Like, if we were Floridians, we'd be like, I don't get it. But I mean, me and Kyle have been there for 30 below.
Yeah. Wow, that was that's going to be a great conspiracy theory that I'm going to use for my number. So thank you. No, that's awful. I don't. Do we take a moment to?
Well, I was hoping. No, we didn't need. I just thought there might be more reaction, but you all.
Yeah. Well, that was 2 months ago, Lou. So at least you're up to date with everything.
Yeah, we're in week 13 of the year. Okay, bro. Okay, that's that. Thank you for that great downer stat. Our well wishes are with the people of Kansas City, and sorry, I wonder if that's now on their ticket stub. Like, okay, injury. That's okay. Moving on. People that run with their legs. Top running back landing spot.
People that haven't lost their legs.
Okay. Yeah. So let's talk about the top running back landing spots. Does anyone want to talk about that first? Right?
Right. Go ahead. You got a top 5? I have a top 5. Okay.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I do. I'll start. I think there's a couple tiers here. The top tier is 2 teams, the Chargers and the Cowboys for me.
Yep.
Chargers, especially because just with Jim Harbaugh coming in, the guy is going to want to run the ball. And there's really I know they signed Gus Edwards and they said he's going to be involved around the goal line. Great. But there's no way that's the guy they're bringing out as their 1A week 1. I just don't see it. So that is still an opening. It's going to be a guy in the draft. And that running back is probably going to start pushing to the first round of drafts because people are going to know that he's going to get fed the ball, especially if it's Blake Corum from Michigan, given their history. So Chargers are number 1. 2, Cowboys. I mean, look, they have maybe as much of a glaring need at that position. And they have a really good offensive line. So they're a really attractive spot. And then I have 2 more. I don't have a 5th actually right now. But the next 2 I have are Arizona and Buffalo. So Arizona, it makes sense, right? James Conner is there. He's getting up there in age. And it could be an exciting offense, right? So even if it's only an injury, spell, I think it could be really valuable in fantasy. In Buffalo, I think is a sneaky spot to take a running back here. I think they like James Cook, but I'm not sure if they love him based on what he's done so far. And even if he's involved in the passing game, I still think they've shown a desire, as most teams do now, to have kind of a team, a 1-2 punch. And who is to say that person couldn't come in this year and actually kind of steal some of the thunder from James Cook? So those are my 4 top spots. Definitely a top tier of Dallas and LA, but don't sleep on Arizona and Buffalo getting a good one too.
And we didn't prepare Kyle for this, so he could maybe just comment on ours. I'll do mine, and if he wants to say anything, you can go ahead. But I'm very similar to you. Chargers are my number 1. Cowboys are my number 2. I have Carolina as my number 3, which you didn't mention. That was one team that you didn't mention that, Hubbard and Sanders, were fine. But I feel like if somebody comes in there, one of those 2 guys can kind of be displaced and be part of a 50-50 there. Arizona was my number 4. So I agree with you that. And then for my number 5, I kind of had a tie, and Buffalo was one of them. So I agree with you there. I think they could be a sneaky pick for a good running back coming in. My other team is the Rams, only because they've shown that whoever that guy is can be great, right? So if Kyren Williams does go down, and it's not like Kyren Williams was this highly touted prospect last year. He came out of nowhere, got the chance, and did great. If Kyren Williams was to get hurt or struggle early on the year, if they were to draft a guy, I can see that next guy just being just as amazing in the McVay offense. So again, we agree on a lot. The only other team I had kind of as an honorable mention were the Jags, because I kind of down on ETN and don't know what Bigsby is. I think we kind of nailed that top 5. I don't know if Kyle has anything.
What a good explanation for the Jags. I'm down on ETN for no reason at all. The other guy I just don't know about.
They've been. I will say this about the Jags. They've been. I've always been an ETN guy. They've been pretty clear, even in this offseason, about not wanting not thinking that he's every down or a back that they really want to give a lot of work to. Bigsby, in a year that I thought, a lot of analysts thought, because of that same type of thinking, maybe that they'll give Bigsby more. He really wasn't a part of the offense last year, and ETN just kind of really progressively went down throughout the year. So no, I think that that's a place that if the right guy went and got the opportunity, ETN gets hurt or something like that, I can see Bigsby not being the first one that they go to if they got a second round running back, third round running back. So I still think that's an interesting spot. I didn't put him in my top 5, Kyle, so shut up.
Well, that's good. That's smart. No, the only team that I'm surprised no one mentioned was the Raiders. They have a defensive head coach. They're not in position to draft a quarterback. And so you go in with Aiden O'Connell. And again, you want to do the whole beat the drum for Zamir White, but ultimately he was a mid 4th round pick. And he's got 2 ACL tears in his past. They were a while ago, but still has it. And also their backup is a guy who's bad in Madison. So they're a perfect candidate to at least draft a 1B if Zamir White is really going to be their 1A.
They were on my mind. I think I'm giving Madison a little bit more credit than you are as a backup, and I think maybe even Zamir White a little bit more credit than you are. But one thing I'll say that you're wrong. You're talking about Aiden O'Connell. I do think Minshew will be the starter there, which might open up a little bit more offense. I do agree with you. If it was O'Connell, that I think it would kind of stifle the running game a little bit. I think Minshew could put up some numbers. You're a Minshew guy, Kyle. I hear
you. I think he's fine. I think last year he started the majority of the season and didn't put up numbers and was throwing a pretty good wide receivers and running back and still didn't do much. They almost made the playoffs, but as far as I think he only threw 15 touchdown passes, and he had Michael Pittman and Josh Downs and didn't do anything.
I think Kyle's onto it though with the Raiders. That's probably an omission on my part. I think after hearing his case for it, they're probably number 5 team. And it is based on Zamir White, and I am not a Madison guy, so I'm with you there. I wonder though, they seem to me to be a team that could pick like a Bo Nix or a Michael Penix. And, they're not in the top, 10, but they're 12 or they're pick 13, I think is what they have in the draft. So they could potentially get one of those guys or someone at the top of the second. And then one other just quick one I want to throw out there I was thinking of, not for starter, but for San Francisco. If you ever get a chance to get one of the 2 San Francisco running backs, they're probably in a position this year to draft another one. Elijah Mitchell is going to be 25. Jordan Mason, he's kind of just a guy. If they take someone in the 3rd, 4th round this year, I'm probably going to be throwing a lot of darts on that person because it's just good to have a piece of that backfield.
But I'm not fighting with you on that.
Yeah, well said. All right, now let's move on to something that we did prepare Kyle for. We're going to do a 2-round rookie Superflex mock draft. Now, Louis, I think you are going to make the draft order happen.
Kyle, you're the number 1. I'm number 2. I'm number 2, and Ryan, you're number 3. We'll do a snake draft, and we'll go through the 2 rounds, and try to do as quickly. One thing we're going to try to do, maybe at least when we get into the middle and later ends of this, is that I think the first round or the first few picks are pretty obvious, but I would like to try to do some comps of where we would trade some players. So as far as veterans in the league, but Kyle, for the 1-1, I feel like in a super flex draft, you have a pretty obvious answer, but go ahead and I'll let you lead it off.
Yeah. It is super flex, But I assume this is, are we going tight end premium? No tight end
So
premium?
we're going to go tight end premium, but and I know that the three of us are in a lot of 2 tight end premium leagues. My thinking of just leaving it at just tight end premium is that I don't think that there's a second one in that first 2 rounds. So, you know,
and then we're assuming 1.75 or 2. I guess that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, well, 1.75. I mean, really, what I'm saying is I think the only one that is going to change that type of thinking is Browers, obviously, and I think where he's going is, you know, within conversation anyway. So go ahead with your 1-1.
Yes, I will just go Caleb Williams, just because you know, everyone will, and I can't argue against everybody.
Yeah, no, I agree. I have a very big top 3 here as far as, and I'm in, as we talked about, a lot of the start 2 tight end premium leagues, and since really early on in the offseason, I wanted a top 3 pick for one of these 3 players. Seeing that we are not really sure of where we're going to pencil in the tight ends in this type of mock draft, I got to go Marvin Harrison Jr. here. I just feel like he's the best asset in this draft, as far as he's the surest thing for sure, no matter who you're picking. And so, yeah, I would be Marvin Harrison Jr. here with the second pick. So, Ryan, you're up with 2.
Well, we're going to stick to consensus board, I think.
Oh, wait, you're not up with 2. I'm sorry. It's not a steak draft. You're up with 1.
Yeah,
you're up with 1. Yeah. No, it's not, because we're gonna go through like how it would be with 12, right? Like how we would do 12 picks.
Remember last time when you broke Ryan's heart for picking the wrong guy? Come on.
No. Either we're
okay. You're still okay. You want to snake?
Still snakes, but we're just alternating who's picking it. We're doing So I get 2 here. Don't try to take it from me.
Yeah. Hey, this matters, Lou.
It does. With 103, I also think this is, at this point, basically a locked-in pick in most Superflex drafts. I think it's Malik Neighbors pretty easily. I know that there's going to be a conversation about the quarterbacks here, but lucky for me, I have picks 3 and 4. So in my own world, I get both of these guys here. Look, Neighbors is. There are some people draft evaluators who have him as the number 1 overall player in this draft, above Harrison and above the quarterback. So I don't think you can pass up that talent. He could be one of those next, 12 to 15 year career guys, and you just lock him in and you just thank God that you have him. So I definitely want to have somebody like that on my team. The next pick for me is going to be a quarterback, and I'm going to take Jaden Daniels out of LSU. So both LSU players here. It's the fantasy upside, the rushing upside that for me gives Daniels the edge over any quarterback not named Caleb Williams. I am intrigued by May as a prospect, and some of these other guys. Again, I'll be throwing the darts at them, but if I have to rank them right now based on where I expect their fantasy value to be, the rushing element of Daniel's game is going to be a big part of it. So he's a 700 to 800 rushing yards per year type player, and that's just a insanely safe floor to have. So I'm happy to get Daniels with the 4th pick.
All right. Lou, right? You're next.
Oh, yeah. So honestly, obviously, this is going to matter where people go as we start talking about this, where they go and where they get drafted, the settings in your league. I want to kind of make my point here that I think Browers is like a world-class athlete and going to be a game changer. I don't know if in certain leagues where I am, if I'm strong at quarterback, strong at tight end, whatever, what I would do here definitively. But right now I want to stick up for Browers and think he's going to be great. So I'm going to go him here at the 1-5. So then Kyle, you got 1-6 and 1-7.
Yeah. So I wanted to bring up Browers real fast.
Bowers. Sorry. Bowers.
Yeah,
I said Bowers.
What's funny in these tight end premium leagues is 1.75 and above the year Kyle Pitts came out, people took him over Trevor Lawrence in these tight end premium leagues. And I should mention, rightfully so, he should be going in the top 4 picks if you're in these tight end premium leagues. Last year in leagues where it's 1.75 per reception, not counting quarterbacks, of the flex positions, 6 were tight ends in the top 10 of the flex positions. 6 were tight ends. That's insane. And it's just funny that we're, again, only in tight end premium. I want to make that clear. Yeah. That this guy should not, he should be in the running for the number 2 overall pick. If someone took him above Marvin Harrison Jr. in tight end premium, I wouldn't be like, you're fucking idiot. I'd be like, no, that makes sense. That absolutely can, because if you get 800 yards in these tight end premiums and you're at 2 points per reception, I mean, dude, you're at Marvin Harrison Jr. has to get 200 catches and 2,000 yards to match those points. It's just funny that people have backed off more, and hopefully people don't care and he falls a little further. I was hoping in this fake mock draft he would come to me, but he didn't. And again, this will be easy. I'm going to go just Drake May and Rome Odunze because those were the easy ones to round out the top 7 there.
Yeah, I like that. Those are good. Odunze, man, he is gaining some steam with me. That, I mean, I've just heard so many people start talking about him that, again, you never know. We get closer to draft. There's a lot of smoke screen and stuff like that. But I think this wide receiver class is the best in a long time. I love that pick because of the way that I went here with MJH and I know this is, we're not like kind of picking as the same team. But I do think that JJ McCarthy is starting to get that steam. I don't love him as a prospect. I want to be perfectly honest, but he's getting that steam that I think deserves in a super flex. The shot here, especially at 1.8 now we are at. So yeah, I think JJ McCarthy would be my 1.8.
Okay. So I'm up for 2. I would agree with you on McCarthy. I think there's a tier break in Superflex after 108. And, as much as I didn't really see it in the limited amount of time I was watching Michigan games, I'm not, studying the film like some of these other guys. And after Josh Allen happened, I refused to get these kind of hardline stances on quarterbacks because it's just nobody knows. Even the people who are the best in the business at this, they still don't know. It's still a huge projection. So could it work? Yeah, absolutely. And it's good value at 108 in Superflex to get a quarterback there. So here's where I think it starts to really open up. I still personally think it's too early for the first, running back unless it, someone goes in a position like we talked about earlier, like the Chargers. Maybe that's when you start to look at someone in this spot. But the first pick at least is easier for me, and that's Brian Thomas Jr. He seems to be, of the remaining wide receivers, the most likely to be picked in the top 15 to 20. Most of the mocks that I've seen, have him picked somewhere around pick 20, which I think is the Steelers. So if the Bills are interested in him, they're likely to need to trade up. He seems like, what he did at the combine might have been almost as impressive as what Xavier Worthy did, because he's 6'4", 205. And he ran a 4.3 40 at the combine. That's insane to be that big and to be running that fast. So that's an easy pick for me. This next one is going to be, more up in the air, I would say. And just based on, oh man, it's tough. There's so many guys that I think could go here. I'll just stick to this board that I have and just pick Xavier Worthy. I'll pick the 2 combine freaks. I know that typically this profile of a guy who's just a combine freak, doesn't usually work out, but he's more than that. He had a lot of production at Texas, so I think he could be actually good at the next level. So I'm happy to get him here.
That's sounds good. I think you just admitted that you were a Josh Rosen fan when you.
I absolutely did already.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of the three of us were not a Josh Rosen.
I was a Rosen person too. Yeah.
Real ball knowers picked Rosen before the draft.
What if the Vikings like take it all the way now with him as the backup? That would be interesting. But,
oh, he's there? I didn't even know that.
So big Rosen fan.
I didn't even see that I did not see that he signed anywhere. That's crazy.
No.
111, I believe we're at with Kyle.
No, you're
up.
You're up.
I'm up.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how it went.
First, okay. 111. I'm going to take, and again, I agree with Mira. It's just like I really liked Worthy. I would have taken him here. I'm gonna go Mitchell from Texas. I mean, he's the one. The point that a lot of people are making is he's the one that has like the most question marks, and in this very strong class, is he going to get that draft capital because he does have so many question marks? I think he's perfect, especially at the end of the first round, to like go to a Bills, go to a team that needs that skill set. That I'm right now counting on him to be in this position, but also can understand that might very well change after the draft. But I will take Mitchell here at 111.
That's good. I'm glad you took him because I am not a fan. Not to sound like our uncles or whatever, but the whole like him not finishing routes or taking a lot of plays off where he knows he's not getting the ball. I think playing across from Xavier Worthy, who I do think is phenomenal, and again, I know we're not analytics guys, but Xavier Worthy checks every box analytically, and Adonai Mitchell checks none of them. Everyone just goes, well, he looks the part. So I get it. And maybe he ends up in a right spot like Buffalo where maybe they force him the ball and he just is good because a good quarterback's throwing him the ball. But I'm glad you took him so I can sit there and take Troy Franklin and Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey, I don't think, unless he ends up in a perfect spot, Buffalo or even like a Dallas, I would say, but like somewhere where he's going to be a good quarterback, can force him the ball a lot. I've always had a theory, not a theory, but a thought in fantasy where like we're all trying to get like a top 10 wide receiver and stack our teams with all these guys. But if you're in a deeper league or a league that starts 12, you need wide receiver threes. And I think that guy's going to plug and play wide receiver 3 his entire career, and that's worth something. And I think, I'm not the only guy that thinks that. I think is the most pro outside of Marvin Harrison Jr. and like Neighbors. That second and third tier, I think he's the most pro ready, and I think he's a plug and play. You get 900 yards for the next 10 years every year.
I want to push back just a little bit on this before we can continue. And I like the player. I don't think the two teams that you picked are the best spots for him, because isn't he going to be a really reliable slot guy? Like I don't want him as a Buffalo Bills fan because we have Shakir. Now we have Samuel. I don't think I want him on that team. I also don't want him on the Bills personally I think you and I have talked about this guy, but like, I don't want to hear the racist from South Buffalo being like, he should be starting over Diggs. It's because he's white. Like, I'm okay with Lad McConkey going somewhere else, so I don't have to hear that that type of
He doesn't fit what the Bills need per se, but it was that was just an example. I guess it could have been a better example of just go to a team with a good quarterback that can force feed him the ball.
Yeah, I love that. And I think you're 100% right that, like, I think if he goes somewhere, he could be an Edelman, Welker, you know, that type of, not to just use more white guys, but that slot receiver that can make those catches. So I like him as a player. I think that he needs to go to the exact right spot to be great. And I don't know if I want to count on that pre-draft. It might change for me very much after draft. All right, sorry. I talked about that a lot. Sorry, I apologize. You took Troy Franklin. I think here, and I know, has there been a running back taken? There hasn't, right?
No.
I just don't want to guess on these guys. I think my strategy right now, going into this draft season, and again, where they get drafted will change this a lot. But like right now, I want to take the chances at the quarterbacks, and especially in a super flex league, I'm going to take Bo Nix. I don't really have a strong feeling on him over Penix Jr., but I'm going to take Nix here because I want to stack quarterbacks in a super flex league. I think this is the spot for him. So I will take Bo Nix right here at 202.
Okay, so this is a wide open area of the draft, in my opinion, and you're going to have a lot of variance, I think, in your rookie drafts based on team needs at this point, because you could, until the draft happens, at least, you can make a lot of arguments that these guys all fit into a very similar tier. So with that said, I'm going to take a hashtag or quote my guy, and this might be early considering it's, compared to most boards, but I have to take Keon Coleman here. I am a Keon Coleman truther. I think that guy is going to be electric at the next level. I think he's going to get drafted by one of these. I think he's either a late first or an early second type of guy. And I think he's just kind of flown under the radar. He doesn't check a lot of those boxes, those measurables. And I know it's kind of risky to take that profile, but at the end of the day, you're building your own dynasty, fantasy football team. Take the guys that you like, take the guys that you believe in. So he's definitely one of them. So I want to take him. And then my next pick, this might be a controversial pick, but it's going to be Jalen Wright, running back out of Tennessee. He is by far not the consensus first running back, at least according to redraft best ball values right now. But what I like about Jalen Wright that's different than most of the other running backs is that he has the receiving profile that most fits an Alvin Kamara. And if you're talking about, we're presuming this is a super flex tight end premium and just a PPR league for everyone else, that's going to be hugely valuable at that position. I know running backs are going to lose value quicker than wide receivers, but I'm going to take a dart throw here in the beginning of the second and just say, that's going to be the guy I think is going to have the most fantasy points. So Keon Coleman and Jalen Wright are my picks.
All right. Let's speed up here. This last seven picks here in this round so we can get to our draft. But I'm going to go Jonathan Brooks. I think without the ACL injury, he's the clear-cut number one running back. And because of the injury, he's, a little bit questionable, but I think he was obviously the best running back. So I'm going to go Jonathan Brooks here. And Kyle, for you for 2.
This is kind of based solely on where and when he's drafted. But as Lou said before, Superflex, if he gets in the top 10 of the second round, I'll take Penix here. If he's outside of that, I will probably look elsewhere. I don't like left-handed people. So that's just my thing. Nothing against him I guess that is personal. But if he started throwing with his right like a normal person, I would have no problem taking him. But that's not me. So I will take him here with the caveat that if he's drafted in like the first 10 picks of the second round. After that, I guess there's a run on the running backs here. I would have taken Jalen Wright. I do want to nod to that. So with that, I will go, man, I want to say I'll go Braylon Allen.
Yeah.
It's cool. He looked cool in college, red uniform.
Well,
Really
I like him only. One of the things I just saw about him today, he's only 20 years old. So he's someone that I kind of like. And there's another running back in this class, Jamar Jordan. I think he's 25. And this is because of those COVID years. But Braylon Allen's only 20. So you're going to get some juice out of that with, up to 5 years potentially of a running back, which is almost unheard of,
Yeah.
if he
and
hits.
he's big.
Yep.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah,
guy.
he's a good blocker too. Like he has a lot of attributes that will keep him in the league. So I do love Braylon Allen. I'm gonna go here as we try to get this closer. I'll go Trey Benson. Again, these running backs are just it's going to be a crapshoot, and it's going to depend a lot on where they go. But I do like his game, and he's obviously one of the best guys here that are going to come out. So I will take a chance with Benson without knowing his spot. So Ryan, 2-9 and 2-10.
Yep. Xavier Legette is going to be the first one. I think he kind of fell into a trap of other positions getting picked. He could very well be better than Keon Coleman or just in the same bucket as Xavier Worthy or Ladd McConkey or A.D. Mitchell. So I'll throw a dart on him here. And then my second of two picks is, again, going to be just my guy. I'm going to take Jalen Polk. I think he's super underrated. I expect him to go in the second round. And I think that guy can play. So I want to get him in the second round if I can, even though I could probably wait until the third in most of these drafts.
Me. Sorry. Apologize. I want to make a point here that I really like Audric Estime from Notre Dame, and I know he's kind of falling down most people's boards because of a bad combine, but I think he's going to be a third or fourth rounder. So I just want to make a point that he would be on my radar. But I think here, because of the point you made earlier, Ryan, and I think it's a very safe bet, possibly, is Blake Corum. I'll take because if he does end up with his former head coach, that could be a real fun spot for him. So I will take Blake Corum here at 211. And Kyle, you could finish it off.
All right. Oh shit! I only got one pick, huh?
Yep.
Okay. Tough. I am going to name the two players that I'm deciding between. This is draft stock and league scoring settings are Sanders, the tight end. I don't know how to say his first name.
Yeah.
Jatavian Sanders. So that, again, that's based on if he's a third round pick, I'm probably not taking him right here. But again, tight end premium. And everyone saw what Laporta did last year, and people saw him fall to the second round in drafts. If this guy's a second round pick, there's a chance in these drafts, and Lou, you know this too, if he goes in the second round, he's probably a first round pick in these tight end premium, especially with the start two. He's probably sneaking into the first round, the back end of the first round for sure, because people don't want to miss out on tight ends. Yeah. So if he somehow makes it this far and you're in a tight end premium league, I would take him. Other than that, I'll just want to mention everyone took their guy. I'm going to go Javon Baker. He's the guy that I've read a lot about. And again, just checks all the boxes that I don't do the research on that other people does, that he's got the size, the weight, the speed, and metrics in terms of, on-field stuff.
All right.
On field stuff. That is
That was very analytical right there.
Very in-depth draft, everyone. Good luck. Winner takes nothing. But next, we're going to move on to our conspiracy theory draft. After we spoke a couple weeks ago discussing the Princess Kate Middleton discussions, we realized like theories are so goofy and we need to do a draft. So that's why we are here. So Louis, if you could please do a nice
right now. I have the number 1, Ellie of the number 2, Ryan the number 3, and Kyle the number 4.
Damn.
And we'll be starting off. We'll do 4 rounds real quick. I will as the number 1. Man, that's tough. I'm gonna just go the flat earthers because and I don't want to I really don't want to use it 1-1. I don't know if it is 1-1, but I didn't want to not get it. I just think it's the dumbest of the dumb, and I need to take flat earthers. And again, I don't know how you guys are doing this or whatever, if like we're doing it as like the dumbest ones or the ones that we believe in the most, whatever. It's all up to how we perceive it, but flat earthers, I need to have the number 1 conspiracy theory.
Great pick. And I'll speak for probably everyone in this room. I think none of us might not be conspiracy theorists. So I think we're probably going with the weirdest. I'm assuming that.
Okay.
Except
Kyle's a firefighter now and he's got a mustache. So he might have
I'm just saying, we got to hear these people out.
Every person Kyle saves, he's like, their soul has now become okay. So this is actually a conspiracy theory that I love to push out there a lot. It's my favorite conspiracy theory of all time, and that is JonBenet Ramsey is actually Katy Perry. That is my number 1 favorite. Both excellent singers. Both knew how to contour. I think JonBenet was the first girl to contour her makeup, and just an absolute gem of a performer. Katy Perry is JonBenet Ramsey. That's my number 1.
I love that. That's a first round pick. Like that just second overall. That's a beautiful pick. I love it. All right. For my first pick, I'm going to go with the conspiracy that David Stern fixed the NBA draft lottery so that Patrick Ewing could end up in New York. And this one has some legs to it. I mean, I've done so much of, my own just reading on it just because I find it fascinating, right? Like, like he would, the frozen envelopes, right? So he knew which one to pick out. He puts one back and we'll never truly know, but it's a fun one and it's one that's memorable for me. So that's my first pick.
I like that.
Great pick, right?
Okay. I have 2, right?
Yes.
Okay.
He's got plenty to talk about. So
I will. The first one, I'll go that the moon landing is fake. I was like, who cares? If the government came out tomorrow and was like, by the way, we made that up, what are you gonna do? You still got to go to fucking work, dude. Shut up. All you're gonna do is brag to your friends that you were right, and they're gonna go, "Yeah, you're still annoying." Like that's so. I don't care. We're not gonna overthrow the government, and you're still got to pay your mortgage. So it doesn't matter if we landed on the moon or not. And then for the second one, I'm gonna pick that 9/11 was an inside job. Because politicians, just because they wear suits and they're on TV doesn't make them smart. I don't think they're smart enough to pull that off. And someone, by the way, they're all on cocaine. Someone would have said something by now. And probably George Bush, if I'm being honest.
Legitimately, every time I want to believe a conspiracy theory, that is my thing. Like, I have let
the biggest secrets of my life out after 4 vodka teas. Like, I cannot imagine that these stuff would not have gotten out. So I totally agree with you there. I like your point.
Yeah,
Sorry.
well said. Can you
All right.
explain that dollar bill trick that people fold and no? I'm joking. Very good. Right.
So my next pick is the JFK assassination was either an inside job or, I mean, certainly not staged. I guess they're not saying that, but that it was a conspiracy. It's again just the Zapruder film and all the, it might be one of the biggest like conspiracy theories in of all time, right? Involving one of the most prominent presidents in history. So yeah, it's a good one. I think again, it's lunatic, but that's not here to judge. We got to hear all sides, right?
Good pick. Mine is that Paul McCartney is dead. That is so. Are you gonna take that?
Yes. I was. That was my next one.
Big Beatles fan. The November 9th, 1966. He walked out of the car. People say that Paul got beheaded by a car. That is so dumb because the people that say this, like they're just stoners. Like if you're listening to a record literally backwards, not like last song, you're like, it's so dumb. Like just stop smoking pot. Like that's all it is. Anyway, that's all right.
No, there was more years of Beatles post that than there was pre that, right? Like if I remember right, do I got the dates right? Like they were bigger. I mean, some of their biggest hits came after this.
They were recording Sgt. Pepper, which everyone loves. I hate that album. I think that's the worst. They had a few more, obviously, Abbey Road, and they had the White Album, but it was
because part of this conspiracy theory is that people think that they put clues into their songs.
Again, stoners. He's not wearing shoes. Like Paul, it was a hot day. They're taking a picture. Paul takes his shoes off, walks across the street. Like it's stoners being like, bruh.
Listen, I didn't believe it until you started coming at our stoners. And now I'm like, you know what? Maybe he's been dead this whole time. All right. I have two fun ones. One of my favorites as a kid was Marilyn Manson removing his kidney so he could suck his own dick.
His kidney, his rib.
Ribcage. Ribcage.
Well, I don't know. I would remove whatever I needed to. You tell me what I need to remove, and I'm there. So, okay, yes, your rib, whatever. The rib cage, that was a great one when we were kids. The other one that around that same time, if you guys remember, that everybody thought Gwen Stefani was a dude. Do you remember that? Do you remember? No? Really? No.
That didn't matter to me if she was. She's still hot.
With the original, no doubt, everybody thought she was a dude that what's the word? Transgender.
Transformer. She's a transformer.
She was a transformer. But yeah, that was another way. Those were two big ones from my childhood that I remember that I need to get on my list. So,
beautiful. That I will go quick. My favorite, I love. Go down the deep dive of Walt Disney conspiracy theories. They're amazing. My favorite of the Walt Disney conspiracies is that Walt Disney, in his will, put that he will give money to the first man who becomes pregnant. Beautiful. If anybody's ever seen an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, he owes him some money. But it's amazing. Go down the Walt Disney deep dive. It's fantastic. So
wait, but has that been proven false for sure?
Well, I mean, now you can say that men can give birth. If you identify as a man, like so, Walt Disney would be like, but it works. So yeah, it is not true. Like people have read his will, it's not in there, but someone was just like,
gotcha.
The stoner thinking that Paul McCartney is dead. Anyway, it's dumb.
Well, in what might take the cake as the weirdest of all of these, despite all being pretty weird, the conspiracy that birds aren't real and that they're government surveillance drones. I mean, it's so funny to me. Like that the government would first of all, be able to execute a plan like that. That's the first sign that, there's no way they'd be able to come up with all these amazing, but in general, just that every species of bird that's out there is actually just like a different crafted drone. I mean, that's so good.
Beautiful.
That's so good.
I'm picking one.
You got two. Your
I
last
have
two.
two. Okay. The first one I'll go with the higher up politicians or just people in the world are reptilians. That's my favorite because people are like people who think that's real. They'll like take a still image of like Joe Biden and they're like, look at his mask is falling off. And I'm like, have you just never seen an old person? That's what their skin does, dude. It's just loose.
So great. So good.
And then the last one, I'll do a semi-current one, is that COVID was made in a lab and released. This one is not a conspiracy, that actually happened. So
I was gonna say, don't even try to say that that's not true, you firefighter. I know what you guys talk about over there.
Can you point to your closest American flag you're wearing?
The tattoo or the
shirt?
Well, that was the COVID. I thought you were going with that. It injected the vaccine injected 5G into you. So maybe we'll put that on your.
No, I'm not crazy.
But I guess I'll go. It's not really a fun one, but just chemtrails, right? Like that. The government again is just, they want to spread stuff, so that's how they do it. So they just, I don't know. It's stupid, but it's also what we're talking about. So there we go.
Tennessee just did a law. They got a law rejected today, by the way, from their House of just very.
Wow.
So they can't release the chemtrails, or what did they pass? What did they do?
They're like, that's bogus. Very, that's okay. Okay, I guess this is someone in my sister-in-law thinks the sun is not real. This is a real person in my life. She thinks that at one point in the night, scientists were like, I got something. When everyone's sleeping in the entire world, let's put an object in front of the sun just because. And that again, stoners. I don't know why. And then they talk about it. It's not real. I don't know how the clip. It's like we should be clipping all the.
So this woman.
Over to my house, please. Anyone? No.
This woman does have a mental disability, though.
She does.
Okay.
Very nice.
I just want to make. Yeah. They are all very nice, Allie. They're nice people.
She does talk about this on her also on her YouTube channel, like we are.
No.
Yeah.
Only that, just over and over.
It's just, again, people. Yeah. So if anyone wants to come visit my family for the holidays, just to see it in action, come on by.
Big day when the eclipse comes to town. I bet that's
She's like, I cannot believe they're putting up that piece of cardboard.
Yeah, she said, you don't need to use those glasses. You can just use your phone, and the real answer will be on your phone. And I was like, I don't know what I
imagine her. She just like said that like really mysteriously, and then just like turned her cape and like walked away. Like,
all right.
Okay.
We'll close this up. There are some things that I won't pick here that were omissions. Princess Diana's death, where like her kids still think like she still might be alive. Like, have you heard Harry talk about this? He was like, don't give the sad face. Like Prince Harry is legitimately 5 years ago. It was like, if she came to my house today, I wouldn't be shocked. Like, he still thinks it might have been fake. That's weird.
He needs to watch The Crown, is what I'm saying.
Barack Obama being born not here, his wife being a man, COVID vaccines causing death. That's all weird shit. What else?
Coca-Cola having actual cocaine in it was a thing. Remember that?
Well, it used to, didn't
In
it?
the 1900s.
Yeah, that's real.
I don't believe you people. Crisis actors, Epstein death, any boxing match that didn't end with a knockout, all those are good. But the one that I'm going to go with here is the Tupac Illuminati Machiavelli thing. Like, man, everybody, like, for when I was 12, 13 when he died, and people were like putting numbers out and why things made sense. And as a 13-year-old kid that was doing a lot of drugs, I'm like, man, I can't wait to find him when I get older. Like, he still might not be dead. He might be hanging out with PDiddy right now. We don't know, but that one was something that has stuck. I mean, people still make that joke 20 years later that, that Tupac is just chilling on an island somewhere. I think that one needs to be in this conversation. So I'm glad to have him as a final pick.
Yeah, very, very good. The Elvis also not dead is one. Left-handed people are worship the devil because, why not?
Kyle believes that.
I know.
Yeah. I thought we were talking about conspiracy theories here. Not truth.
Avril Lavigne died in 2003. There's that too, which is a fun one. But great draft, everyone. I can't wait to see how Louis puts this out on X.
No one mentioned Deflategate on a football podcast.
No,
it's not a conspiracy
because that was proved true, right? Okay, yeah, I guess
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, I guess
right.
that's right.
just like Coke and Coke. That's how they got the name. I don't know. That's true. It's like really
it's like, yeah, Lou could have got that mid sentence. They put Coke and Coke. Oh yeah, all right, now I get it.
Yep. I should stop saying things.
Tea and Pepsi might be something to talk about. But thank you guys. Kyle, thank you for joining us again. Great insight on the drafts and picks. Ryan, you're enjoy the jelly beans this week as Easter approaches. And Lou stopped drinking Coca-Cola and lost 20 pounds. Great job, everyone.
You have something. I know you for sure have something to promote. Maybe Kyle does, but you promote your show.
Oh, I am opening for Maria Bamford at Buffalo State University. And the last Buffalo Bandits game is in Buffalo. Home game, regular season, is also next weekend. So big stuff.
Yeah, go check that. Kyle, you got anything to
promote? Yeah, I have a show on a stand-up comedy show, not just a show. On Saturday at Revolver Records on Transit. If anybody wants to come to that.
Is that the secret show?
No, that's on Friday, but I'm not on that one. Okay. That's why I didn't promote it. But thanks for reminding me.
If we say in the hunt, do we get VIP like backstage?
Also, that's another thing.
I'll open the door for you.
Kyle also listened to In the Hunt podcast. Buffalo.
Oh yeah, that's right. If you like the Bills and you want to hear more of my insight, listen to In the Hunt cast.
Brian, you got any big law things going on?
I got a couple of seminars if you want to tune into those. No, the coolest thing I have coming up is I'm going to the Masters in a couple of weeks. So,
we're all jealous of that. That's
the hat. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for everyone listening. Remember to like and subscribe on YouTube. But thank you and happy week 13 of 2024. All right. Thanks, guys.